So we are now less than 3 days away from the first ever 2-night Summerslam in WWE history, which means we have a lot to talk about today on my Summerslam predictions. I am going to be covering both night 1 and night 2, as well as some obvious and big omissions from the card, which, you know, being 2 nights, you would think you'd fit more on, and they certainly have. We're getting 12 matches, we're getting 4 women's matches, a third of the card. We get 3 tag matches. We get a few with some stipulations, a lot of title matches, sorry. But there are some notable omissions. Triple H has left some people off, like Aleister Black and Damian Priest. I actually thought their match was scheduled for SummerSlam. It wasn't. It's for this Friday on SmackDown. So they're not going to be there. Carmelo Hayes, another guy who we've actually saw the We Want Carmelo hashtag trending, like #2 worldwide, which is pretty crazy. The fans want a lot more from Carmelo Hayes, given the people that came up with him from NXT have been given a lot more, like your Bron Breakkers and Tiffany Stratton and Lyra Valkyria. They're on to bigger and better things, while Carmelo Hayes is stuck with The Miz. Yes, he did win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but not much has happened since then for him. Penta, one of the biggest stars in the company at the minute, skyrocketed straight into the main event scene. He's not on SummerSlam. He doesn't have a place, which is very, very surprising. And then LA Knight, who was said to be scheduled for a match against Seth Rollins, where he would have got his win back from Saturday night's main event. A huge win, probably the biggest in LA Knight's history, was set to take place this weekend, but that is not to be, which is very unfortunate. And at this moment in time, it doesn't seem like he's going to be on the card. We do obviously have another episode of SmackDown, but I feel like LA Knight sort of moved across to Raw. I don't know. I don't watch every single second of the programming, unfortunately, because it's on at a crazy time of night, so can't be bothered with that. And now there's Unreal and everything. So yeah, let me know down below what you've thought of Unreal, if you've watched it, or just your thoughts on the SummerSlam card and anything else. While you're down there, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, we post notifications turned on, and you'll be updated on all my other uploads, because there's tons more, not just pay-per-view predictions. I will be doing my reactions, of course, on probably Sunday and then the following Monday. And yeah, that is all the sort of admin stuff out of the way. Let's get down to the predictions itself. So we'll go through night 1 and then we'll go through night 2. So night 1 takes, well, we'll go through night 1 up until the main event, and then we'll go through night 2 up to the main event, and then we'll cover those. But yeah, let's just go. So we'll get to the women's matches first, just for all of them. So first 4 matches we cover are going to be the women's matches. So first up, I'm going to go with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair against the Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez for the women's tag titles. Now, I'm not sure about this one, because I feel like Roxanne needs to prove herself, and she sort of has done in some ways in the Judgment Day with Liv not being around. But Alexa and Charlotte, I think they've got a real thing going on here, and there was a report that they were supposed to have a singles match. I don't think that's anywhere near happening. Why not? I'm going to go with Alexa. That's what I'm calling them. No one else is. Well, other people might call them that, but not on WWE TV, they haven't. I'm going to go with them to win it, just because I think it's harmless. You know, the Judgment Day can win it back a little bit later, and it wouldn't really matter much. But I think they should just strike while the iron's hot, and give them a tag title reign, a fun tag title reign between the allies of convenience. And, you know, it's the most likable Charlotte's been in a while, and it's nice to see her in that sort of light. And, you know, obviously after everything that happened with Tiffany, and, you know, she's had some personal issues and stuff like that, it's nice to see her in that position, because I didn't like her much, but I'm glad to see her get the pops and the things that she deserves, because she's a really good wrestler at the end of the day. Talking about Tiffany Stratton, she defends her women's title against Jade Cargill. And I'm going to go with Jade. I just feel like Tiffany has not done much with her title reign at all. It's been going a while. I don't want to see another Nia versus Tiffany match. We saw that happening a baseball match the other day. I think there was something going on between Tiffany and Nia, but now Nia showed up on NXT, and she's she flattened Lash Legend, so maybe that's a feud. So that takes Nia away. And I think they're just gonna. I don't know. I'm not sure about this one. No, I'm gonna go for Jade. That is my gut instinct going for Jade. I feel like Bianca turning heel just sounds unrealistic. Her returning here and costing Jade it sounds unrealistic. Her helping Jade sounds unrealistic. I don't think she gets involved. I think Jade wins. I think we'll have a Bianca and Jade match somewhere down the line, whether that be WrestleMania or whenever, I'm not sure. But I'm just going to go with Jade to win it here, albeit it would be a bigger moment if she won her first title at WrestleMania. I don't see them prolonging it that much, so I am going to go with the Jade Cargill win. On to night 2, we have 2 huge women's matches, starting off with a Women's World Champion, Naomi, defending a triple threat. Obviously, no disqualification in that one, because that's just triple threat rules. Io Sky, former champion, and Rhea Ripley, one of the champions before that. Or, the champion before Io Sky, right? Was Rhea Ripley. So the last 3 champions are in this one. Naomi retains. Simple as that, I think. It should be that cut and dry. Naomi's just won the belt. She is very over with the crowd. They're saying proceed with caution with her now. Io and Rhea are huge stars in their own right. I don't think they need the title, though. And I would rather Rhea stay away from the title scene for a while, at least until WrestleMania sort of season next year. Io could do whatever she wants as well. And I'm just glad to see her wrestling because she's one of the best in the world. And for some reason, when you're a women's champ, you don't really wrestle as much as if you're just a woman on the roster. They could go and be a tag team. Rhea and Io versus Charlotte and Alexa. Potential. But yeah, Naomi wins. I don't think it will be a dominant win. I can see Rhea having it won, and then Naomi takes out Rhea potentially. Riptide to Io. Naomi takes out Rhea, throws her out the ring. That classic triple threat, throw out the ring and then steal the pin off them sort of win. Could see that happening. A bit like WrestleMania. Io hit. Io hits the moonsault and then steals the win there, and I just feel like Io winning the title again, no point. Rhea winning the title again, no point. Naomi's is really at the height. She's the peak of her career right now. She's at the best character-wise she is ever going to be at. She's the hottest she'll ever be with the crowd right now, the most over she'll ever be with the crowd right now. So I think she just should retain. Speaking of retaining, Lyra versus Becky. This one does have a big stipulation that if Lyra loses, she can no longer challenge for the IC title while Becky is champion. And I think that's what's going to happen. This is a no count out, no disqualification, no holds barred, whatever you want to say. Just one of those matches, isn't it, that has like 8 names. And I think Becky retains, simple as. Lyra will probably move on to the main event scene, potentially. I don't know. That seems to be what happens. You lose a mid-card title, you go on to the main event scene. Fair enough, can't argue with that. It all seems a bit backwards, but, yeah, I think Lyra loses here, potentially via Bayley's interference, because, they're building to a potential heel turn. I don't mind either way. Bayley's been a face for a while. I wouldn't be against her turning heel, because I think her face turn eventually will be really good. But that was a weird but. But I don't mind either way. I'm pretty easy. I prefer Bayley as a face. I think she's quite an annoying heel, but that's obviously her job. Prefer her as a face, but if she turns heel, I wouldn't be completely angry at it, like a lot of people seem to be. But yeah, Becky does retain for me. So there are all your women's matches. Now let's get on to the rest of night 1, starting with the match with the biggest implications to it. Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, where if Sami Zayn wins, he has to admit that Karrion Kross is right. And if Karrion Kross loses, he'll have to admit he's wrong. This is it's a contract year for Karrion Kross. He's looking at extending his contract. We know that talks haven't really begun, we don't think. But, that's sort of why he's getting used, because his contract's nearly up. So Is this a goodbye to Karrion Kross? I don't know. Is this going to be his his last chance to really make an impact and get a contract extension? Potentially. I thought he looked okay at Night of Champions. I just didn't really like the finish a ton. He could have done with the win, and then Sami could have beat him here, I suppose. But I do see Sami getting the win, so I'm going to go with Sami Zayn winning. Obviously, Kross is going to have to admit he's wrong. I don't see where he goes from there, really. This seems like a stopgap for Sami. He's going to go on to the World Heavyweight title, maybe at WrestleMania, which we'll obviously get to later in the video. And then we have the match with maybe the second biggest match, you know, is obviously the tag match between Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul against Randy Orton and the incredible Jelly Roll, who of course will pin Drew McIntyre to win the match. Now I'm not sure. I don't think that happens. I do think Randy and Jelly Roll will win for like a feel-good moment. I do think they'll play on, you know, the chance that Drew might not be there, and it will be like a 2-on-1 to begin with Logan going off against Randy and Jelly Roll. Drew will come in, Claymore, but I think they'll turn it around. Randy gets the win, or Jelly Roll gets the pin over Logan Paul. I wouldn't want to see him pin Drew McIntyre, if I'm honest, but I do see them winning. Which we then get to the next tag match. Yes, there are 3 tag matches on the first night card, which is, thank God it's not main eventing, we think. The classic Bloodline tag match, Roman and Jay versus Bronson and Bron Breakker. I'm guessing with Paul Heyman in their corner. Could be some shenanigans. Paul could cost Roman the match, which is, actually, now I say it, I do see that happening. I did originally have Roman and Jay to win here, but I feel like it's more important for Bronson and Bron Breakker to get the win here to cement their dominance, albeit they just did that on Raw. They stole Roman's shoes. I would prefer them to get the win, though. I think they need it more than Roman and Jay need the win. And albeit, you know, Bronson could just take the pin, and then you still have Roman and Bron build into that, or you have Bron pin Jay or Bronson pin Jay. I'm actually going to go for Bron and Bronson Reed, because I feel like if you just stick with everything you think, you always get 1 or 2 wrong. So I'm going to change one of my answers up. Bron and Bronson Reed for the win on that one, which leaves us with the main event on that side. But first, we're going to get to the most exciting match of the weekend. Axiom is representing for Axiom over here in the 12-man tag against the Street Profits, DIY, Andrade and Phoenix, and who am I forgetting? Motor City Machine Guns take on the Wyatt Six, who are the current champions. Obviously, it's not Bo Dallas, but he is representing them as Uncle Howdy. It's Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis, which I don't actually know their Wyatt Six names, to be honest. I feel like this one's just more of a case of narrowing down and eliminating. DIY, unfortunately for them, you're not winning, and Ciampa can't stand up. This is why this setup took me so long, because Ciampa kept falling down. That's why he was just kneeling down there, and that's part of the reason why I'm not predicting them to win. Street Profits, I'm sorry, but you were the last champions, so you don't get another title reign. Same with Motor City Machine Guns. I feel like they won the titles quite recently. Well, not quite recently, but, you know, they won the titles, so I'm not going to give it back to them. So I do sort of have it narrowed down to Fraxium, Wyatt Six, or Andrade and Phoenix. I wouldn't be against Andrade and Phoenix winning it and having a short reign before they probably break up, because, you know, it's not a full-time tag team, and apparently some people are really high on Andrade at the minute, so I could see him getting a singles push going forward, albeit we've said that about a lot of guys recently. You know, we've said that about Aleister Black, and, you know, now he's not even on SummerSlam. We've said that about Finn Balor. He's not on SummerSlam, so, you know, who knows. Wyatt Six retaining, I feel like this is an easy way to get the belts off of them without losing too much, and then they can have, you know, a potential rematch. I would love to see Fraxium win it, and in the ladder match, who cares? Fuck it. Fraxium are the new WWE Tag Team Champions. That is my prediction. Congratulations, Nathan Fraser and Axiom. Fraxium, your new tag team title holders. Yeah. Up next, IC title, Dom versus AJ. This one I'm not sure about because I feel like Dom's reign should be longer because he's done fuck all with the title since WrestleMania, generally speaking. This AJ feud's been fun. You know, it's had some shenanigans going on in it. I would like to see AJ as the champ. He's obviously not held a title in a long time, so it would be nice to see him as a champion full stop. But I would like to see AJ as a champion, albeit he is a face, which would involve him having to turn heel to then face a face John Cena, who's also turned face, who's now also turned character as well. He's had a face turn by this point because I want them to have a match again. And for the IC title, so Cena can complete his Grand Slam, is what I would do personally. And have Finn turn on Dominic for AJ. I think that's the best way to end the Judgment Day at this point in time, because it's got to happen at some stage. Have Finn break up the Judgment Day for AJ, you know, the Bullet Club connection, all of that. Too sweet. That's what I would do. I don't think that happens though. I think Judgment Day probably help him. We might see a bit more of, maybe Balor tries to help AJ, but the other Judgment Day jump in for the and save Dom. So I'm gonna go Dom retains, but I would, you know, we can't have too many titles retained in one show. So to put it simply, Jacob Fatu regains his United States Championship, which I would have been less inclined to say if it wasn't, just stand up, Jimmy, if it wasn't in a steel cage. Obviously, the implication of the steel cage is that no one should be able to get in, and that's how it should be. The MFT should not infiltrate this. I don't care how tall Tala Tonga is. I don't care how infamous Tonga Loa is. I mean, he is really infamous. Look at him. He's just so infamous. He should not play any part in Jacob Fatu losing here. Tama Tonga, I don't care if he comes back. He shouldn't be able to hop the cage or, you know, open the door or spring through the apron to interfere. And if someone tries to interfere, Jimmy should step in. Or seeing as, you know, probably should still be in the building, Jay should step in. I don't know, but for me, Solo had a short little reign. He's the head of the MFTs. Now it's Jacob Fatu's time with the US title. Alternatively, Solo retains, holds the US title for a bit longer, and Jacob goes on to bigger things, which I think is a bit early for that. I don't think he's a main eventer just yet, but he's going to win the title in my opinion. But now we get down to the real main events, which are tricky to judge. So night one's main event, we assume, Gunther versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. Punk obviously won that gauntlet match, defeating Braun Breaker. Did he defeat Braun Breaker? Was Braun the last guy? I feel like he was the last guy. Can't fully remember. And goes on to SummerSlam to face Gunther. And I cannot call this one because I feel like Gunther's held the title and then he's dropped it to Jay for a little bit, and then he's got the title back, and then dropping it to Punk would be quick. It would be really quick. I mean, he's only defended it against Goldberg, right? Dropping it to Punk would be very quick, but I feel like Punk losing here seems a bit out of place as well. Rollins is the component we don't know about. He's the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, and he has the Oracle as well. But he doesn't have a left knee at the minute, supposedly. We don't know. We really haven't heard much about the diagnosis, which is weird. You know, it's been a few weeks, and we've heard nothing really about the extent of the injury. All we've seen is Rollins on crutches, which Becky posted, which, you know, they could have easily just went with that. And the dirt sheets haven't really reported much. So a lot of people will be expecting Seth Rollins to turn up. Personally, if he isn't injured, I would like to see him cash in here. I think it makes the most sense. It makes more sense than in the other match. And I think it makes more sense than having Punk beat Gunther and then Rollins cash in on Punk. I think Rollins should probably cash in, make it a triple threat like he did before, and stop Punk from winning the title at all, because he did say he won't win gold in WWE if he's around, sort of thing. And I don't see Gunther retaining clean either. I don't see Punk winning clean, really. But you cannot rely on a guy who could genuinely be injured. If I had to pick between them, I'd go Punk. I think I would go Punk. If not Rollins winning here, I would probably go Punk. But I feel like it's very, very short into Gunther's second reign, and that's not how I would end Gunther's reign either. But I don't know how it goes. That's really tough to judge, but it'll be good to watch nonetheless. And then we get on to the Undisputed Championship match. John Cena, who's turned his back on the fans and the camera, against Cody Rhodes, the man who some people would say turned heel, which he didn't. He's just not a stupid face like he has been in the past, which he lost. He lost that side of his character. He became a ruthless good guy against Kevin Owens, and he did cheat to win while being a good guy. There wasn't a heel turn. There wasn't a full heel turn. There was some needle in his actions. There's a bit of spikiness to him, but he's a face. And yes, he put Cena through a table with one of the weirdest splashes we've ever seen, probably because he was trying to save his 10 grand suit or however much it costs. And why did he have the contract in his hand? But he forged Cena's signature on the contract, which I guess that's fine, and he can't get out of it. But that doesn't make him a heel. Cena was calling off the match for a movie. That's him being a heel. I think we are going to see Cody as a heel at some stage, but not until they've developed the face, the new big kids love him baby face, because no one right now can replace him. LA Knight could. Just saying Triple H. LA Knight could be that guy. Don't keep holding him back. But yeah, he will turn heel at some point. Not right now. Cena will turn face at some point. Might be right now, because we don't have too much longer of Johnny Boy's old retirement tour. We've got about 5 months left, and he's going to have to turn face at some point. I still want him to get the IC title. He could win it off of a heel Dominic, potentially, but Cody wins it here. Cody is reinstated as the WWE champion. He picks up his ball again. He's the quarterback. He is the quarterback of the WWE. He's the face of the company. And yeah, we need a full-timer back as the WWE champion. I know Hollywood is starting to call him. He's in that Street Fighter film. And, you know, he doesn't have too much longer on the clock. But for me, Cody's the champion again. He's going to win. It's going to be a good feel-good moment again. Some people are going to hate it simply because he beat Roman Reigns a couple of years ago, because Roman Reigns fans are just hard to describe, really. It's weird. But yeah, Cody retains for me. So I'll try and go through them if I can remember what actually fully happened. So I've got Punk winning. Well, I've got Seth cashing in. If not, then Punk winning. I don't know if I can have those two. But then I've got Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. I've got Alex Shah winning. I've got Jelly Roll and Randy, Jade Cargill, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, Naomi, Dominic Mysterio, Jacob Fatu, Becky Lynch, and Axiom, stacking arm. So yeah, that's everything from today. My voice is weird at the minute. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. If you have, leave a like and a comment and your channel. on the subscribe button. I don't know what that means. Leave any other videos you'd like to see in the comment section down below or on my community page. I'm going to stop talking shit because this video is long enough. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Maybe for my reactions to night 1, maybe I'll post another video. Who knows? Just turn your notifications on so you know. Bye, bye, bye. Alright, I'm actually going now. Bye.